Let's time travel, back to 151 to 300 AD, a wild era of global shakeups and dramatic transformations. This was a period when the world was in flux, and nothing seemed certain for long. Forget modern tech, this was the world's chaotic group chat, with empires collapsing, new ideas exploding, and cultures clashing in ways that would shape the centuries to come. The old order was being challenged at every turn. Rome, once the ultimate host, is stumbling. Too much power, too many problems. The empire stretched from Britain to the Middle East, but cracks were showing everywhere. Internal strife, economic troubles, and relentless invasions were pushing Rome to its limits. In China, the Han dynasty's epic run ends in a messy breakup, sparking chaos and new contenders. Warlords rose, regions fractured, and the once mighty Han legacy splintered into a patchwork of rival states, setting the stage for centuries of upheaval. India? The creative guest, thriving, innovating, and trading with everyone. The subcontinent was a hub of culture, science, and commerce, with new dynasties rising and the seeds of the Gupta Empire being planted. This was the find-out part of mess around and find out. Empires thought they'd last forever, but reality hit hard. The world was learning that no power is permanent, and change can come fast and furious. Plagues, political chaos, and economic crashes. Sound familiar? Epidemics swept through populations. Leaders fell, and economies buckled under the pressure, echoing challenges we still face today. Old systems cracked, and through those cracks, new religions and powers emerged. Faiths like Christianity and Buddhism spread, and new states began to rise from the ruins of the old. The Silk Road connected everything. What happened in Rome rippled to India and China. Goods, ideas, and even diseases traveled these ancient highways, weaving distant societies together. This wasn't a bunch of isolated stories. It was one big, interconnected global drama. Every crisis, every innovation, every collapse sent shockwaves across continents. The old guard was falling, and new players were stepping up to change the game. The world map was being redrawn, and the future was up for grabs. So buckle up, history's about to get wild. The next chapters will be full of surprises, upheavals, and the birth of new worlds. The world was more connected than you'd think, and every move mattered. Let's dive in and see how these centuries set the stage for everything that followed. Who were the global headliners in 200 AD? Rome ruled the Mediterranean, flexing roads, armies, and law, but was slipping into chaos. In China, the Han dynasty, once flawless, was unraveling, plagued by corruption and rebellion. Persia, under the Parthians and then the Sasanians, controlled the vital trade routes, always in rivalry with Rome. In Africa, Aksum was a trading powerhouse. In the Americas, the Maya built cities and calendars, unaware of Eurasian drama. The world was a mosaic of powers, each pulling history in new directions. It was a truly multipolar world, with shifting centers of gravity. No single empire had it all. Everyone was hustling for their place. Zoom in on India. While Rome and China struggled, India was thriving. The Kushan Empire in the north, originally nomads, built a vast realm blending Greek, Persian, and Indian cultures. They controlled the Silk Road's heart, getting rich as the ancient world's middlemen. Kanishka the Great, their star ruler, fused cultures and spread Buddhism into Central Asia and China. Their coins were like a multicultural summit in gold. Down south, the Satavahanas ruled the seas, dominating Indian Ocean trade. They shipped pepper and pearls to Rome, making both sides wealthy. This was a golden age for India. Art, science, and trade flourished. Gandhara art gave us the first Greco-Roman Buddhas. While others fought, India innovated and prospered. They were in their own lane, and it paid off. In 220 AD, the mighty Han dynasty, once the unifying force of China, collapsed, plunging the land into chaos and uncertainty. This marked the beginning of the legendary Three Kingdoms era, a time that would become one of the most dramatic and influential periods in Chinese history. The Yellow Turban Rebellion erupted, shattering the fragile order. As the empire fractured, ambitious warlords rose up, each seeking to carve out their own domain and seize power for themselves. China was torn apart, splitting into three rival kingdoms: Wei in the north, Shu in the west, and Wu in the south. Each claimed to be the rightful successor to the Han, and each was determined to rule the land. Out of this turmoil, legendary leaders emerged. Cao Cao, the ruthless and cunning strategist, built his power in the north and became a symbol of ambition and military brilliance. In the west, Liu Bei, known for his virtue and compassion, inspired loyalty and hope among his followers, striving to restore the Han's legacy. At his side was Zhuge Liang, the brilliant advisor and master tactician, whose wisdom and ingenuity became legendary throughout the ages. Their epic struggles and dramatic alliances inspired the classic novel Romance of the Three Kingdoms, a sweeping tale of loyalty, betrayal, and ambition, often called China's own Game of Thrones. Yet behind the legends and heroics was a harsh reality. Endless war ravaged the land, millions perished, and once great cities were reduced to ruins. The population plummeted as famine and violence swept across the countryside. For decades, chaos reigned, and ordinary people suffered unimaginable hardship. The Three Kingdoms era revealed how quickly unity can unravel, and how fragile peace truly is in the face of ambition and conflict. Yet, the heroes, battles, and stories of this era left a deep mark on Chinese culture, inspiring art, literature, and drama for centuries to come. Though the Three Kingdoms eventually fell and the Jin dynasty rose, the legacy of this turbulent age endured, shaping the nation's identity. It was a time of both brilliance and tragedy, where ambition and loyalty clashed on a grand scale. The events of the Three Kingdoms changed China forever, leaving scars and stories that still shape the nation's memory. Even today, the lessons and legends of this era echo through Chinese history, reminding us of the enduring power of unity, ambition, and resilience. Meanwhile, Rome was plunged into what historians call the crisis of the 3rd century, an era of near-total imperial meltdown and chaos. The once mighty empire, which had stretched from Britain to the Middle East, suddenly found itself teetering on the brink of collapse. The empire was simply too vast to govern effectively. Its economy crashed under the weight of constant wars, hyperinflation, and a devastating plague that swept through cities and countryside alike, killing millions and draining the state's resources. Political chaos reigned. Generals known as Barracks emperors seized power with their armies, ruling for months or just a few years before being overthrown or assassinated. Loyalty shifted constantly, and the throne became a deadly game of survival. In just 50 years, Rome cycled through over 24 emperors, most meeting violent, tragic ends. The imperial purple became a symbol of danger rather than glory. The empire fractured under the pressure. In the west, the Gallic Empire broke away, while in the east, the city of Palmyra, led by the ambitious Queen Zenobia, declared independence, carving out her own realm. For a time, Rome was split into 3 rival states, each with its own ruler, armies, and ambitions. The unity that had defined the empire for centuries was shattered. Only the tough and determined General Aurelian managed to reunite the pieces, though only briefly. His military campaigns were relentless, and he earned the title Restorer of the World. But even after Aurelian's victories, the scars ran deep. The empire's borders were battered, its people exhausted, and the myth of Rome's invincibility was shattered forever. This crisis set the stage for the empire's eventual split into East and West, and for the rise of a new capital, Constantinople, far from the old heart of Rome. The old order was gone for good. The Roman world would never be the same again, and the dream of a unified empire faded into history. Rome would never fully recover from this age of crisis. Its legacy would endure, but the days of unchallenged power were over. Beneath the chaos, new religions were quietly reshaping the world. Christianity, once a fringe movement, gained traction in Roman cities, offering hope, charity, and community in dark times. Persecution only made Christians more resilient and united. In Persia, Mani founded Manichaeism, a faith blending Zoroastrian, Buddhist, and Christian ideas, spreading fast along the Silk Road. In India, Hinduism evolved and Mahayana Buddhism flourished, seeing the Buddha as a divine savior. The Kushans helped spread this new Buddhism into China, where it mixed with local beliefs. The world's spiritual map was being redrawn. Old gods faded, new faiths rose. These changes would outlast any empire. The age of spiritual revolution had begun. Why care about 151, 300 AD? Because this era forged the world we know. The collapse and rebirth of empires shaped today's borders and cultures. Rome's crisis led to Europe's formation and the East-West divide. China's Three Kingdoms reinforced the dream of unity, shaping its identity. Religions born or transformed then, Christianity, Mahayana Buddhism, still guide billions. The spiritual landscape was forever changed. This era proves nothing is permanent. Empires fall, but new ideas rise. Out of chaos came resilience, reinvention, and connection. The world's challenges then mirror ours now. Pandemics, division, uncertainty. Their struggles are timeless, and so are the lessons. That's why this ancient tea is still worth spilling.